Welcome to the Coastal Kitchen. Today we're going to take a culinary trip to Greece. About 38 years ago I was introduced to the Greek family that now I'm a part of, and I fell in love with their food. The first thing that we're going to start making today is Avgolemono Soup, a traditional Greek salad, some Kourabiedes, which are butter cookies, and we're going to have some hummus. All right, let's start. I've got my chicken. It's about a 4-pounder. Between 4 and 4.5, and I've washed it and I'm going to put it in my pot. So let me grab my pot. I'm going to put it right in and I'm going to cover it with water, just cold water. Want to get it all the way over the top of the chicken. It's going to cook for about an hour and a half, and then we're going to remove it from the pot. So this dish will take just a little bit of your time, but it's well worth it. All covered up. Gonna pop it on my stove, turn it on high, and I'm gonna put some salt in it right now. And we're gonna cover it up. Let that start cooking. Now, while that's getting ready, we are going to talk about the other ingredients that we've got for our soup. In the soup, we're going to put some celery, carrots, and potato. And the carrot, I'm not going to peel it because I like those lovely nutrients that are contained in the skin. And what I'm doing is I'm just cutting the carrot into strips. And we're going to get all of them. Put them all together and just cut them into bite-sized pieces. Adds a little tiny bit of sweetness. So that is ready to go once our soup has cooked for about an hour. All right, some celery. And I wanted to make sure that you saw that I'm going to use the celery leaves too. And I'm going to do the same thing with the celery. Just cut it down the center, cut it in half. And of course it's been washed, so we're good there. All right, push that right over here. And potato. Let me grab a peeler. And I have washed the potato, but I'm going to do it again. We're going to give it a good peel. Some people don't put potatoes in their Greek soup, but my husband loves potatoes in the soup. And some people don't use rice. We're going to use rice today, but you can also use orzo. That's a pasta. It's a very small pasta. And I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to make it into a strip cut. Okay, now what I need to do is, since we're having a Greek salad and we're going to wait for the chicken to cook, I'm going to go out and get some oregano out of my garden because I need some for the dressing. I'll be right back. Got my oregano for my salad, and I have turned my heat down on my chicken. Now I'm going to turn it off, and let me grab a platter. Now you're going to take the chicken out and let it rest. It probably is falling. Yep, it is. Let's get this out the right way. It's cooked so well it's falling apart, which is exactly what I want. Let's find the other parts. Okay. Now, if you don't cook it quite as long as I did, you can actually reserve some of it to serve by itself. But we're going to put that right there for just a moment. And let me grab a helper here. And we're gonna throw the potatoes in now. The celery. And the carrots. I'm gonna add just a little bit of salt. Let's get some out of here. A little bit of salt. And a little bit of pepper. Not too much. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a stir. Turn it back on high. And we're going to let that cook about 30 minutes. In the meantime, while that's cooking, we're going to take our chicken off the bone. Okay. I'm going to get about a cup of liquid out. Just hold it up against the side of the pot so you don't get any of the vegetables in there. And I'm going to reserve that over to the side here. Grab our chicken. Now it's hot, so you want to let it rest for about 30 minutes. If you got tough fingers, you can start on it like I'm going to too. Just pull the chicken right off the bone, and I'm going to grab a bowl to put that in. And after it's in there a few minutes, I'm going to shred it up, chop it up, get it all ready. So we're going to have a word from our sponsors, Lowe's Foods, and I'm going to be working on getting this chicken ready.
When you start with local produce, add some homegrown Carolina pride, and mix it all with a commitment to family, you get more than a locally based grocery store. You get the taste of home. Lowe's Foods. Lowe's Foods, proud sponsor of the Coastal Kitchen and ATM CTV.
Okay, I'm just about finished shredding my chicken. It's cool now. I turned my pot down just a little bit, but I put in a cup of rice. Just regular good old rice. And you can see, I'm just picking this apart with my fingers. Just want it nice big chunky pieces. Okay, let me grab this pot holder. And this is at a rolling boil now. I'm going to take my chicken. All in the pot. And now I'm going to give it a nice stir. And it's going to stay on for about another 30 minutes. The wonderful thing about this soup is it can cook and cook and cook. Be ready when you are. Okay, let's put this back on. And I've got my set up here. Let's clean up just a touch. Okay. I'm going to start making our sauce. It can sit for a few minutes. I have got my reserved stock. I've got 6 eggs. I've got 8 lemons and some water. And let me grab a hold of this. Bring this over here into the picture. I've got to have the juice of about 8 lemons. Now this is where you can have this the way you like it. I love, absolutely love the taste of lemon with this chicken. So I like more. You might like a little bit less. But the flavor is absolutely wonderful. All right, I have 6 eggs that are at room temperature, and I've just separated them. And I have juiced all my lemons. Got to get the last little bit that I let drain out. So we've got that in our little bowl. Let's push that back. All right, we're just going to beat these eggs. The egg whites, just want to beat them. till they get nice and frothy. We don't want egg drop soup. We want Avgolemono soup. Little messy, but it works. Now we're going to do the same thing with our egg yolks. Get them nice and mixed up. Now I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of water to my egg whites. And give it a nice little stir. And now our egg yolks. And I want it all. Now just continue to whisk it up real nice so it's all incorporated. And I'm going to get my liquid from my stock. And I'm going to add just a little into my stock at a time. See how creamy that looks? Keep whisking the whole time. If you put it in the liquid and it's too hot, you'll have scrambled eggs. Keep right on going. And what I do is I take my lemon, and I'm going to turn this down to low. Put my lemon in my soup. Stir it around a little bit. Now comes our egg mixture. And I'm going to pour it in nice and slow and stir the whole time. Makes it a little bit frothy. Great on a hearty, cold day. Alright, that's good. We're going to put the top back on. Put this over here. And I'm going to rinse my hands and we're going to go to our salad. I have gotten my lettuce cut up really small. I broke it into pieces after I cut it in long strips. You want bite-sized pieces on your lettuce. Okay, got some celery cut up right here. And the way that I did that is if you'll cut your celery into 3 pieces, just 3 strips, and start cutting. We got this without any problems. Just whatever size is good for you. Okay, done the same thing with onion. Got spring onions and I've got a bunch. And we're going to throw them in the salad. Use the greens too. They taste wonderful and they do have some food value. Okay. Got that. Fun thing about a Greek salad is you just throw everything in. And if you get it all fixed and prepared beforehand, it doesn't take any time at all. I'm going to use, this is a really sort of large pepper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use about half of it. And I have taken the seeds out. Going to throw this in. Love green pepper just to eat it like a snack. Throw the green pepper in. My tomatoes, I've got 2 tomatoes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them into wedges. I've got them cut in half, and I'm going to cut them into about 4 pieces each. We're just going to throw those on top. You might want them a little smaller, a little bigger. It's whatever you like. Starting to look nice and colorful. And one more. Now, I'm going to show you a trick with cucumber. I'm going to get a fork And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fork and the tines I'm going to run straight down the cucumber. Just breaks it up a little bit, makes it look a little bit nicer. Okay, and I'm going to cut this in half. Like I said, this is a traditional type salad, so you don't have to worry too much about exactly the sizes. Just cut those strips down and then chunk it. Lots of times I put radishes in it because I like that other little bit of red, and I love the flavor of a radish. But any vegetable that you want to add to it can't make it not a Greek salad. Okay, cucumbers in. Now, we're going to do a quick toss, and I'm not going to use these to do it. I'm going to do it with my hands. And we're going to let that sit just a second. And come over here to our dressing. Oops, a couple little pieces escaped. All right, I've got a mason jar. I love these things. They are so wonderful when you're making dressings. And I'm going to move my feta right over here. Okay, I'm going to take red wine vinegar. And I'm going to take 1/3 cup. Let's get that. It's red wine vinegar. And I'm going to put in just a pinch of sugar. I love sugar. Sweetens things up so nice. Now, I'm going to get my garlic ready. I've got 2 cloves. Pretty big clove here because normally I would use 3. I'm just going to smash them up good. I want them smashed. Okay? And then just give them a little chop. Garlic, can you ever have too much? Somebody told me today, no. All right. That's going to go right in. And I'm going to put in my olive oil. That's going to set for just a second. Now, I told you I got my oregano. I'm just going to take some off of my stems. Just pull them down. I've already pulled some off, so we're ready to go. Okay, put that over here. Oregano. Now, if you use fresh oregano, it takes a little bit more. If you don't, and use the dried kind, just use a little teaspoon, it'll work. But these fresh herbs do wonderful for the taste buds. Okay, got that done. I'm going to throw my Kalamata olives on. Now I've got a little bit of juice in there. These are pitted. They're Greek black olives. I'm going to throw some peperoncini on the top. Right here. Love the juice in the peperoncini. Gives it a little tang. Okay, the only thing left to do is some salt and pepper. Put a little bit of salt in there. A little bit of pepper. Not too much. And then we're going to put the lid on and give it a good shake. Now this will stay in your fridge. You can keep it in the fridge for about a week because there's nothing in there that can turn. Okay, nice and creamy and ready for our salad. I'm going to wash my hands. We're going to clean up, take a short break, and I'm going to show you how I put the feta cheese on when we come back.
Lowe's Foods, proud sponsor of the Coastal Kitchen and ATM CTV.
Welcome back. You can see how wonderful this Greek salad looks. I've crumbled some feta on the top. I've got my dressing ready because I don't want to put that on until I'm ready to serve it. And I've got some block feta cheese that if you want, lay on the top because some people absolutely love it. I know I do. Now, let's go make some cookies. Okay, we're going to put our butter in. I'm going to make Kourabiedes. It's a Greek cookie that's a butter cookie. So we start with butter. And I'm going to let this go for about 3 minutes until it's nice and creamy. Now let's add some confectionery sugar. Let it get in there and cream together. This is a recipe that you can omit the whiskey, but it doesn't make it as authentic. But it takes a jigger of whiskey. You put that in. I've got some vanilla and some almond extract. Now it's time for our toasted almonds. Got them chopped up nice and finely, and we're going to slide those in right now. Next, we're going to put in 1 egg yolk. Let that go. It's nice and creamy now, so I'm going to slow this down just a little bit, and I'm going to add my flour in a little bit at a time. Just one little bit right there. Get it started. Okay, that's all we need the mixer for. Let's take this off. Shake it down and get all that butter mixture off, all the wonderful flavorings. And we're going to do the rest by hand. Want to mix it in a little bit at a time, nice and slow. All right. There we go. And I'm going to put about 2 heaping tablespoons in at a time. And we're just going to incorporate this so it stays nice and silky. It is a fabulous tasting butter cookie. You can see how it's all mixed in before I add the next batch of flour. And this flour has been sifted. I sifted that earlier. And this recipe makes about 5 dozen cookies. Last batch. And a good strong arm. I'm going to push this back a little bit. And this is where we get to get our hands nice and dirty. The fun part. If you've got kids, let me grab my pan. Okay, an ungreased cookie pan. And I'm going to take a walnut size amount of dough, roll it around in my hands, make it into a nice ball, and there it goes. Now start with number 2. All right, last one. Now I've spaced this batch that's going to go in the oven about 1 inch apart because they do expand some. Then what we're going to do is when they come out, let them cool for just a second and put them on this tray with powdered sugar. So let's get these into the oven real quick. Okay, rinse off my hands because that butter is still on there. and we're going to make some hummus. Now, hummus is a really fun food. You can use it as an appetizer. A lot of people use garbanzo beans or chickpeas in all sorts of dishes. I'm going to grab this so I can pour a little bit of liquid into this cup. And I'm just going to drain the rest. And this is going to go into my food processor. Right in. I'm also going to throw in 3 cloves of garlic. I'm going to put in a teaspoon of salt. And that jumped away from me. And we are going to start it on its road. We're going to process this for just a few minutes till everything gets down. I'm going to move it around a little bit and put in my olive oil and my tahini. Now, tahini is a sesame seed paste. Okay? It smells wonderful, and it's a nice oily consistency, like peanut butter. A lot of people eat it instead of peanut butter. All right, let's put lemon juice in. And I like just a touch of heat with mine, so this is as I like it. I'm going to put just a little bit of sriracha in there. All right, looks like we're done. Grab my bowl. You can see what the consistency looks like. It's great. It's nice and thick. Just want to put it into the bowl. Let's pull this out because I want to get everything off. Okay, now, remember I reserved this liquid. If you want your hummus thinner, a little bit more moist, you can put this in, make it as thin as you want it. Now, let me grab this little ladle here. It's great for making the hole that I want to make. I'm going to take that and a little bit of olive oil. And we have hummus. Cookies are just about ready to come out of the oven. We're going to have a word from our sponsor, Lowe's Foods. We'll be back to put everything together.
When you start with local produce, add some homegrown Carolina pride, and mix it all with a commitment to family, you get more than a locally based grocery store. You get the taste of home. Lowe's Foods. Lowe's Foods, proud sponsor of the Coastal Kitchen and ATM CTV.
Okay, we're getting ready to finish up our cookies. Now I have some little dessert cups and I have little cupcake type cups. And what I'm going to do is, after taking them out of the oven, I've set them on powdered sugar. I've got some already finished, but this is how you do it. Put it in the powdered sugar, put it in one of the cups, and you've got Kourabiedes. Okay, I'll finish those up in a later time. We're going to show you what we've got. Everything here is a good part of a Greek culture. We've got Greek salad, Avgolemono, Kourabiedes, hummus, and crusty bread. The recipe you can find if you'll go to Facebook and search for us, The Coastal Kitchen. See you next time. Good eating.